Liquid Death. A lot of y'all have seen me running Liquid Death paint schemes. If you haven't had the chance to try Liquid Death, I implore you to do so. No, I am not being paid to say this. I just figured it would be good to do somewhat of a sponsor slot for the start of our 10th episode here for Who's That Driver. I'm your host, Zach Rogers. This episode already titled. Yes, I came up with a title before we started recording. And the title for today's episode, as you have seen, is A Fierce Rivalry. So with Liquid Death aside, let me introduce our guest for today's episode. I'm joined by somebody who I can't stand to see beat me on the racetrack. I don't know if there is anyone else that I hate to see beat me more than this guy right now, and that is Jack Merkle. Jack, what's up, man?
Hey man, how you doing? I think that goes both ways for both of us, I think.
Yeah, that was literally going to be my next point, is I believe from all the signs you've given me, the things you've said after races, is that I'm probably your number one as well.
It's real close between you, Nick Gunther, and Dunn LaPrade for sure on who I just can't ever get around, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, the only other person I would say I could categorize would be Tyler Mallon, but I haven't really raced against Tyler in the last year much. If I were to answer the question a year ago, it definitely would have been Tyler, but like right now, it's definitely been you since you came back and you've gotten like back to your prime, and like getting around you is a pain in the ass at times.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. It definitely took some time to get back to where I was. I don't race that much with Nick anymore, but it's weekly with Dunn, and then you started showing up where I race too, and it's been a struggle sometimes, but it's also been pretty fun to have somebody that I can actually race with and race around and not have to worry about getting taken out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you race against a lot of guys, you like to win. Like I like to win, but I don't like to just drive away either. Like it can be kind of boring if I'm just gone in 20 laps. So I like the competition.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely nice to be able to actually race people and not just kind of, like you said, run away with them and just be kind of boring for the last half of a race.
Right on. So before we dive any deeper into the NR world, let's talk about what got you into motorsports. Everyone already knows this because I said before this past week in a Discord server, I'm gonna have another Jeff Gordon fan on. Like I think half the episodes have been Jeff Gordon fans. So what got you into motorsports, and who your favorite driver is now since Jeff's retired?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, motorsports in general, I guess cars in general. My dad always had race cars or did something with them, so it was always from the start. It was going to be something I was into, and then NASCAR was just kind of a natural progression. And one of my friends growing up in the same neighborhood was a Gordon fan. So I kind of just piggybacked off of him. Plus, the car had flames on it when I first started really watching. So I was like, cool car, has flames. I like that one. Uh, but yeah, ever since he retired, it was kind of just whoever took over the 24. I don't really have a super favorite. It's kind of just between Chase, Bubba, and William Byron. But it's not anywhere near like it was with Jeff.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that could be the case for like a couple of us that grew up with NASCAR early 2000s and then 2010s. Like I think I was thinking to myself at the end of last year with Truex retiring, because he's been my guy for like the last decade or so, since he was with like MWR in the 56. I don't really have a lot of guys that I feel too strongly about. Like I like Kyle Busch a lot right now, and he's struggling. And then I like Denny Hamlin's grown on me the last few years, especially with his podcast and all that stuff. Um, so like outside of them, like I don't really have a strong favorite other than like Ross and Connor Silich. I think is gonna become my like new number one as he climbs the ranks, because he looks really good, and he's only 18. So or I think he might have turned 19, but he's probably gonna be my guy moving forward for the next like 2 decades.
Yeah, it really kind of sucks that I didn't really pay attention to NASCAR until 2013. And of course, Jeff retired 2 years later, so I didn't get many years watching it and a lot of wins to watch either. But it just kind of felt like that kind of felt right to just kind of keep with whoever was in the 24 to be my favorite. And I mean, I like Chase still, but I think as far as who I'm going to root for to win, if it comes down to the three of them, would be William Byron. But I'm a real big fan of Bubba as well.
Right on. Yeah, and I like Bubba. Bubba's grown a lot this year. Like he looks a lot more mature, and I guess they have a saying on they've said on like Door Bumper Clear that like having a kid kind of can really change you. So I think Bubba's become like a lot more laid back. So I've kind of been rooting for Bubba a little bit more myself. But there's really no one I like dislike other than Joey Logano. Joey Logano can take a hike. I can't wait for him to retire.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's 100%.
Unfortunately, I feel like with all the truck races he's been doing for Fox this year, he's gonna jump into the booth, either replacing Harvick or Boyer, and I'm kind of dreading that a little bit too because, well, he was not on the track anymore, but I'm gonna have to listen to him for a third of the season probably.
Yeah. I didn't really think it could get any worse than having Harvick up there because I really just don't like Harvick either. But if Joey replaces him, it would be pretty bad.
Yeah, right on with that. Well, so let's get into NR. So how long have you been in the community, and when did you get into it?
God, I think we're coming up on this will be my in December will be 13 years that I've been playing the game.
Okay, well, I
Uh,
guess the better question is how, not when, because the duration kind of answers the question. So yeah, how did
yeah,
you get into it?
it was really just being a kid on YouTube a lot and watching a bunch of videos, and then I came across. I think the first videos I ever saw were videos by 24 Camshaft 24.
Okay, yep.
His all his like blowover videos and like his NASCAR 2003 season at its greatest videos, and watching those was like, well, this is something I would want to play eventually. And then I got a laptop for Christmas, December of 2011, and I think after a few months, I finally realized that I could get NR like for free, the cracked version,
Hmm.
and downloaded it, and then I already had a wheel at that point, and I downloaded the game, and uh, just from there, it just kind of escalated into how big it is now for me.
Right on. And so, how old were you when you got into it?
If it was December, I think the first race was like November of 2012, so I would have been 14 at the time. I had just turned 14 when I first started.
Okay. Yeah, so we're about the same age, 28. I just
Yeah,
turned 28.
I'll be 27 in September.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I thought you were like a year or two older than me. It's kind of funny. Must have been the beard.
Yeah, I get that a lot. People always ask if I'm in my 30s yet, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Leave me alone.
Okay, so what did your first online league race look like? You know, the number, the mod, the track. Do you got any recollections of that?
Yeah. Thankfully, it pictures of it still exist, so I can go back and look to remember. It was I drove the number 84 HPI Racing. It was a Ford. It was on the NNC07 mod. It was a solstice race at Rio Oval, I think,
Okay,
and
flat track.
yeah, it was apparently. And from what I remember, Ryan Williams had to redo my car because I don't think I put a roof number on the car. I think I put just a really big sponsor on the roof of the car because I didn't really like understand NASCAR at the time.
Hmm.
And from the only thing I remember from the race was I ran in the back the whole time, and then on a restart, I took out Dylan Living Good, and then he got mad at me, and I think I got upset, and I just like left the race. I don't even think I finished the race.
Oh wow, another Dylan Living good story.
Yeah,
Randall Coleman told one of him getting into it with Dylan Living good. So that's kind
yeah.
of
He
funny.
was not he was not happy with me at all.
Okay, so accelerating past that. So you said you had a wheel. What wheel did you have when you started?
I started with a Driving Force GT. It was, I mean, when I first got it, it was the best thing I'd ever done in my life. I was like, I can't get any better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used it for, I believe, 4 years, and then I got a G27 for Christmas in 2016, 2016 or 2015, and I've used it since, and that's the same wheel I'm using to this day.
Okay, wow, yeah. So you've been lasting on the G27 train.
Yeah, it's going to be coming to a close real soon because the wheel is very worn out and very tired, and I can tell every time I race.
Have you switched the pedals out at all, or you still got the same pedals?
Nope, still using the same pedals, and they have get some good bad ghost inputs on them too.
Oh boy. Yep. Yeah, that's why I switched off the G29 pedals because the potentiometer on the throttle just wears out after like 2, 3 years of use.
Yeah, it's if I go back and watch a replay in the race, I can tell sometimes when I'm going through the corner, if I'm not in the throttle, I can see the gas kind of pop up a little bit, like it's like I'm hitting the gas, and I know that I'm not, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. So you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna try and get the a Fanatic wheel. I think it's the don't remember what it was. It's their kind of budget starter wheel, but it's still a direct drive
Mm,
with load cell pedals and everything like that.
nice. Yeah, I think the fact that you're as fast as you are with what you have. I think once you adapt to how the wheel is used and you get used to load cells, like you're gonna get that like those extra tenths you're missing. Like when I switched to load cell, I felt once I got used to them, I felt a lot like more confident in my like trail braking ability on road courses and stuff like that. So you get like a lot more control with like not just the brake but the throttle too. Like the load cell pedals, even though the throttle's just like a potentiometer or whatever, like typically like my Thrustmaster TLCMs, the throttle's a lot stiffer than the Logitech throttle, so you get a lot more range out of the throttle pedal, which is nice. So you'll once you get used to them, it'll take like maybe a month or two, and you'll just start flying faster than you were before.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that I've gotten so used to my gas pedal that I feel like I don't let off of it all the way like I need to because I'm not I don't really know. It's just kind of and it just seems like I don't have as much range as I used to with it. It definitely feels like they're wearing out and like the sensors going out in it, and so sometimes it's kind of hard to be as easy on the throttle as I want to be because even I've noticed too that it will uh go full throttle before I actually get to full throttle too.
Hmm. Yeah, so my throttle actually, the Thrustmaster, the profile for the pedals, they have like dead zone areas that you can edit. So like the humidity usually messes with my pedals a little bit, the throttle pedal anyway. So I have like a 2.2 to 2.5% dead zone range at the beginning and then like a 2 to 2.5 at the end. So like if the humidity's got it acting up by like 1% or something, like it doesn't even trigger the gas in the game. And same thing, like if I have my foot all the way down and it's only reading like 99 or 98.7, like it don't matter. I'm still full throttle in the game. So that's one thing I like about the Thrustmaster pedal. So I don't have to worry about like cleaning that too much in case it starts getting like a little crazier.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I haven't pulled these pedals apart in years, and I probably need to do that, but I don't really ever have the time to do it.
yeah, I'm not like confident in cleaning the pedals. So I'm trying to put it off as long as I can and then just like get somebody who's a little more familiar in electronics to do it for me. I got a buddy who could probably help me take it apart and clean it without like putting it back together wrong.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, so going back to racing, what did your first league win look like?
So first win was actually it was in Spole. I believe it was season 3. Um, I my first win was I won the GNS race at Eldora, and for some reason I just was really good at that because I think the next like 7 races I did at Eldora on anything I won, and so that just kind of became my thing. But I don't think I was ever really that good at it. I really don't know what happened.
Oh, so dirt racing, you just like you got the one win at the dirt track and then bam, you were just winning dirt races?
Yeah, I think the first like 2 or 3 out of my first couple wins were like all Eldora races for some reason. I don't really know what I did or why I was good at it, but I just kind of was.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think
the dirt stuff, like typically keyboard and controller drivers excel a little more because you actually want like as little range as possible on the dirt tracks, because you typically the dirt texture is different than the grass. Like a lot of the dirt tracks now are made with grass, but you typically on like a grass texture dirt track on an R, you would you rotate the wheel as much as you can right on entry, and then you like stop it and you like pull the wheel back like straight, and then you kind of want to just hold the wheel as like straight as you can. You don't even want to like counter steer or really turn to the left too much. You just want to like steer it with the throttle. And like even with my 245 degrees, like I have it pretty much down where like I can contend with the some of the controller drivers, because the controller drivers can just do a little bit more because they barely have to move the joystick. So
Yeah, I think the last few dirt races I've done, somebody else you've had on a video with, Cody Lamas, has been the problem for me. I just the last few dirt races, I think he's outran me every time, and I just cannot get around him at all.
yeah, because you just steer with the throttle. So like you don't even like as a keyboard, you don't even have to really worry about how much you're turning because you just steer with the throttle. So you just like off on the gas, and that's how you get it to rotate. And then you just got to maintain a certain amount of speed through the center to exit.
Yeah, it was nice because all I would do was just turn my force feedback all the way down, and I was just throwing the wheel back and forth, and it obviously wasn't efficient, but it worked, and it just somehow worked. I don't really know.
Right. Yeah, because you run a high amount of force feedback, right?
Yeah, usually if it's racing, I everything's cranked all the way up basically, so that I can feel as much as I can, knowing that my wheel is like going out. So it's not as strong as it used to be. So I have to have it turned all the way up to have any kind of feeling in it, really.
Right. Yeah, because so I got a new G29 to start this year, and I had to turn my centering spring up actually because it was looser. Like it was easier to turn at 50% centering spring, so I had to turn it up to like 90. I fiddled with like 180. 100 felt too tight, 80 felt too loose, and then I just settled on 90. So I'm like running a higher centering spring than I was with the newer wheel. So my old wheel was like stiffer, but I've always run like a low force feedback, so I'd never really
Yeah,
touched that.
yeah. I always had it kind of running kind of low, and then I think it was Kevin McAdams was the one that told me to turn all the way up years ago, and I've just done that since. It definitely it felt I had to get more used to it when I started using the G27 because the centering spring and it being a belt driven or gear driven instead of the way the GT was, so it felt a little different. So I had to really relearn how to do it and relearn how to control it. But once I got into it, it was fine.
Right on. So what was one thing you struggled with when you started?
Saving tires, I was still really not that good at it, but I was really bad about just, I mean, being absolutely torching my tires in the first 3 laps of a run and just struggling from that point forward every time. And it, I couldn't really figure out what I was doing wrong. It took a while. Uh, I guess I was doing like Ryan Newman. I was sawing at the wheel through the corners for some reason, and so it was just
Mm,
chopping the tires up and not doing good. And I had to get learn how to be more smooth with the steering instead of just like sawing at the wheel like he did, where it was just like left straight, left straight, left straight, trying to get the car to turn. And I needed to be more smooth and straighten it out to be able to do anything for more than 10 laps on a run. Unfortunately,
right, yeah, like you want to try to hold the wheel at like a consistent angle. You can move it around like a very tiny bit, but you want to be smooth when you do that, as opposed to what you're saying, like just left straight, left straight, left straight. Like that's how you just saw off the right front. Like you want
yeah,
to
it
be
was not
like
good.
you want to be smooth with the wheel. Like if you're gonna wiggle it a little bit middle of the corner, you want to be smooth with it.
Yeah, I learned that really quick that I was doing that the wrong way and that it was not. I needed to change it very quickly.
Yeah, another thing some people I see some people do, and I think I was a victim of this myself when I was started out, is holding not straightening the wheel until you get right to the exit. Like some people will still hold at like 30 degrees in the wheel, when they're like coming right off the corner, like you want to slowly straighten the wheel out off exit. You like maintain more momentum, and you like save the right front that tiny bit when you come off the corner. Same thing when you're going in the corner.
Yeah, I was definitely bad about like just not really turning into the corner, but waiting till I was at the corner and just yanking the wheel over to get the car to turn, and then like you said, not straightening out till I was on the straightaway in the turn.
Yeah. Would you say you had a mentor at all, or did you just kind of like get tips from a bunch of different people and you like slowly like applied it?
Yeah, kind of just asking a bunch of people questions and trying to figure out the best thing I could do, and then never really had anybody just kind of teach me the way to do it.
Right. Obviously your preferred number is 24. What would you say your secondary number is?
Honestly, it's a situation where if I don't get the 24, I just kind of I'll look at the cars that are available for the mod or whatever, and just pick a number based off that. If I can get the 24, then I don't really have a preferred number. I just kind of pick one at that point. It's not really anything like any numbers that are special to me or anything like that at all.
So for fast, what made you pick 26?
I think it was because I went through. I think I saw like I think it was Kevin McAdams. I saw one of his cars, and I was like, yeah, that probably looked pretty good because I could just use the Hendrick font for it. I don't even think I did, but I think it was just like the next closest number that was available, and I was like, fuck it, I can make that look good, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And so you went with the Aflac sponsorship, kind of like a Edwards thing almost.
Yeah, I'm a real big fan of using bases for cars, and that was just one of the bases that looked pretty good. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll use this.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
almost rarely ever just actually paint a car. I really love using bases.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people out in the community that do a great job making bases. Like you can get away with just like throwing a number and name on it, and you're done.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. And if there's not a base for the car, I'm just probably not going to run it. I'll just figure something else out.
Yeah, I gotcha. How did you come up with the settings you're using?
You mean like for the wheel and everything like that?
Yep. Yeah, wheel settings, like, obviously profiler, and then in the game, like how did you come up with that stuff? Was that like also asking some people, and then like if you remember, what did you use when you started, like before you asked anybody, like what were you like using, if you even know?
I think when I started and up for a while, I think I only used 270 for degrees of rotation, and then once that like, and then like the low force feedback and everything like that. But I think once Kevin McAdams told me about the to increase it and everything like that, I think it might have been him, but I don't know for sure that I eventually increased it to run 360 degrees of rotation, and that's what I've used since, and that's what I've always used.
Okay.
Um, for NR, but like for iRacing stuff, it goes back to 900. That's where I stay. But if it's NR, it's 360 no matter what. I think I might have turned it down for the dirt races or something, but it's as far as I can remember, it's been 360 for a lot of years.
What about like linearity?
100%, I think. I don't think I've ever changed that at all. It's been
Okay.
100 since I started playing the game.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever told you mine, but I run 53%. I like tried 100% randomly last year with 245 degrees because I had done like a bunch of practicing that game Infineon. So I was like, oh, what would this feel like with 100% linearity? And I went out on the track and I like couldn't even hold the wheel straight. Like it was just wiggling like the whole time at like like 3 degrees of input either way. The car just would just go. I still ran like half a second or so off my like best lap, but I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Like I went right back to 53%.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things that I've done it for so long that I don't think I could change it at this point and be comfortable with it at all. Because I do remember that conversation. We did talk about it. And I think I tried it after we talked about it, and it felt like the most undrivable thing in the world. Like I was like, this, I can't do this, because I was just so used
Yeah.
to having 100%, and then changed it, and it was really bad. It was not good.
I'm a big proponent. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, just run 100 linearity, yada yada yada," and I'm like, "Well, no. Like linearity should be dependent on your degrees of rotation. If you're running higher degrees of rotation, then yeah, you can run like 100% linearity. Like if you're running 360 or 400, I think Tyler Mallon is using like 400 or so. Like if you're running that, like yeah, like you want 100% linearity because you've got so much range of motion. But if you're
Yeah,
running like 240 or 200, like you want less. Like there's some guys at RTG that they run like 200 to 240 degrees of rotation, and they're like actually just running like no linearity. Like they just have it all the way down. So like there's obviously a huge delay, but they like it's a lot smoother on the wheel when they go in the corner. So like I was running I think 260 with 60 linearity for a while, and then I heard Taylor Morgan's was doing 245 with 53. So at the time, Joven and I both started running that, and then Joven I think now runs something similar to Tyler because he was getting beat by Tyler every week, and he was like, "Well, what are you running? I'll try that." So he's been doing that. Last I heard. So but I personally wouldn't like myself. I don't care to really experiment with settings. Like like, what do I have the need to? Right? Like
Yeah.
I'm fast. I'm comfortable. Like there's really no point. Like I've been running these settings for 5 years or so now. So like I don't see a point in changing. And I'm sure you feel the same way about your settings.
Yeah, I don't have the time to go in and do a bunch of test laps and everything like that anymore. And so I'd have to test out in races, and I'd rather keep what I'm comfortable with and compete for wins than try and get used to something else that might not even work, and that I'm just wasting races trying to get used to something that I'm not even going to like or use in the end. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no point in changing it for me.
Right. All right. Here's a fun question. We'll start getting into the fun ones. Who was the first person you butted heads with? So obviously there was the issue with living good in your first race, but who was like the first real person you were butting heads with?
I guess the first person that there was arguments or issues on both sides was really, man, it was probably like Joey Murphy, I
All
think.
right. I remember when I came in, there was beef between you and Joey. That was like late 2015, early 2016.
Yeah, I don't think I really had problems with anybody up until that point, and then that was like a whole that was like a 6 month stretch where if we were near each other on the track, we were probably going to wreck each other, and it was kind of annoying. It was kind of fun at the same time, but it really did kind of cause some issues for a couple races where we got taken out.
Yeah, so like how did that start? Like do you remember what like the first incident was where you were like, "Oh, like that kind of bothered me," or he got bothered by something you did?
I think it started with I think we I either wrecked myself off his nose at Talladega or something, and then for some reason just convinced myself that it was his fault and got mad at him, so he wrecked me back the next week, or vice versa. It was either I wrecked him or he wrecked me, and then that's what set it off for both of us. And then it was like for like 6 months straight, if we were near each other, we were either going to put each other in the wall, or we were just going to flat out dump each other, or not give each other room and wreck both of us anyway. And it was. I'm glad it was over when it got over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't remember if like one of you guys got suspended at one point or both of you got suspended at one point over the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it was either I think it was an S Fox race that we both got suspended for, or were like they basically told like if it happens again, you will be gone for a while. Just cut it out. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now we could joke about it now and we can go back and look at it, but obviously he was younger than me at the time, so I shouldn't have been beefing with him anyway. But he made me mad, and I just we just duked it out on track for a while.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I remember. So I came in and I like got along decently with Joey, and I didn't know who you were like at all. So I was kind of just like, oh, this guy's probably an asshole.
No, that's
So,
fair. I definitely was back then. I'm definitely a lot nicer on the track now than I was before. But I used to kind of be an asshole on the track for sure.
yeah. I mean, I was definitely the same way. Who would you say your main rival was back then? Like, obviously, you listed off your main rivals now. Who would you say your main competition or rival was back then that you hated seeing get beat by?
It was probably like DJ Curtis probably back then.
Really?
He would get the best of me a lot. And it wasn't really like it wasn't really heated. It was just kind of like, damn, I really can never beat this guy except for very rare times. So it's probably either DJ Curtis or maybe like uh Rick Johnson version of Jovan Anderson, probably.
Okay. Guys on keyboard, basically.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, God, dude. And then Cody. Oh God, it was. I hated keyboard players.
It just always got in your way when you were going for the win, huh?
Yes, yes, they did.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever done on track? If it's not intent wrecking Joey Murphy, if it was intent wrecking someone else, or just something else that was just dumb or embarrassing.
The main one I can remember is there. Well, there's two. There was a APRS race, I think, at like a super speedway. And on like lap 3, I went to change some settings and retired from the race instead of click settings.
Oh
So they
no.
had to restart. Thankfully, they restarted the race because we were only 3 laps in for me. And they're like, we'll just cut 3 laps off the end. But other than that, in terms of like racing, it was an IORL race at Dover, and I got under Bobby Jones. I think was the guy that ran it with, I think, and
Yeah,
he,
Bobby and
I was, I,
Buchanan.
yeah, I was second behind him coming into 3 and 4, and he dove off into the corner and gave me the bottom, and I was rolling through the bottom under him and clipped the apron coming off 4 and spun out on the coming to the checkered. So I went from finishing second to maybe winning the race to finishing like 11th, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. And I always remember it too because it was going to be, I was like, it was going to be really good because it was, I think, my first win at Dover, and I clipped the apron and just spun out, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, never fun clipping the apron. You got quite the rowdy commotion going on there in the background, huh?
Yeah, I got kids.
Yeah. No worries. Um, ever say anything stupid during or after a race? I can give an example. We were running Bowman Gray at Fast this year for the exhibition, and I was like whispering Randall. I was like, "Oh, the 95 is probably gonna wreck you here on the restart," because Randall was on the inside leading, and I was in second, and so the 95 was to the inside of row 2. So sure enough, we hit the restart, and Bowman Gray, it's a quarter mile bull ring, and
Yep.
sure enough, the 95 runs over Randall and turns him into me. But so I got spun around completely, and Randall got saved, like bouncing off of me. He only lost like a spot or two, but I had to like go back through the field. But so I was ticked off, and I was like, "Oh, if this is how you guys are gonna race here, don't come back." And then after the race, I looked, and my other teammate Robert Kubat was lined up third on the inside behind the 95, and he actually hit the 95 into Randall. So the 95 didn't just run over Randall, he got bumped into him. So I felt really stupid after for just blaming the 95 when he got some help.
Yeah, I've definitely had a couple. I think the main one I remember was I got to the point where I had powers with IRL where I could just like I was basically like an admin, and there was a wreck in their IndyCar series, and Lyndon Wright hit me like after the wreck was over. Like it was pretty late, and so I just assumed he plowed me, so I ejected him from the server.
Oh.
Well, turns out he got hit into me, and I think the whole thing was like I got taken out in the wreck going for the lead or something. So I was already pissed off, and then like 5 seconds later, he comes up and plows me and puts me in the fence. So then I'm just like, whatever, I like, screw it. So I just ejected him because I knew he hit me. Turns out he got plowed into me, and it was not a good thing.
Yeah.
Lost my powers. It wasn't great.
Yeah, that's always you never want an administrator who makes knee-jerk decisions. I mean, there was obviously the whole thing in Maverick recently with Keith saying, if you plow, you're gone. Boom. Press of a button.
Yeah, that was certainly a thing that happened. I mean, I understand both sides of it. I understand Keith's side of it, but I also understand the 31, whoever he ejected side of it too, because it's like, I mean, as soon as he hit him, he was gone. And it was like, man, that was quick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe look at the replay next time, just for a quick second.
Yeah, you probably want to check that. Well, it also didn't help that there was nobody off track before Keith started doing it, so who really knows anyway?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. When you have a full field, you kind of want it dedicated on track admin. Otherwise, you gotta, FTF would always just have 2 of their admins drive into the pits after to look at something if no one claimed it. No one does that anymore. I don't see any leagues where we go in, into pit lane and look at stuff during the race, because I think we all just kind of realized, most of us have been around a while. Like a lot of our groups now, it's just people who have been around a while, and you typically know if you caused a wreck or not. And like you're just wasting a lap or so having someone go in and look at it during the middle of the race. So you're better off just saying, well, I'm going to look at it after the race. So if you don't think it was your fault, you better hope it's not your fault, or where you
Yeah,
finish ain't going to be where you finish.
yeah, I definitely think that helps people claim it too. Is if you just tell them, "I'm not looking at it until after the race," and if you did cause it, you'll get EOL'd at the end of the race.
Yep.
So it's either do it now and you just have to fight your way back, or you get at the end of the race and you have no control over it. So you better figure it out.
Absolutely. What's a moment between you and myself that you can recall? Can be a recent moment. I know we just had that battle at Kansas. We had a good battle at Martinsville and Fast a month or two ago. And then I know we had a good fight at Pocono a couple of years ago. Or
Yeah,
you
probably
can
not.
do, or you can do the funny moment,
What was the funny moment?
Bristol IORL.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. I really didn't like you for a long time after that. It I still can't remember if I didn't win the race because of you or what. I still can't remember what exactly happened.
So my memory of it, it was my last race on controller. Like I was gonna pull a wheel out like the day after and like set up a wheel, because I had like an old PlayStation wheel that I had never used
Yeah,
at like my mom's, just sitting in the closet. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I can use this for computer. And I like looked at it and I was like, oh, hey, I can. And that was like a Driving Force GT or whatever.
yeah.
So like that was my last race on controller, and then I was gonna hook the wheel up. But so I just, for whatever reason, I don't know if I was just like driving it wrong on controller, and it was like just a looser setup than I was like maybe used to, but I kept spinning out, and it was really pissing me off. And so it ended up, we just got to the end of the race, and I was just like, for some reason, I spun out going into three, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sit here and hold the brake. I don't care. So I sat there and held the brake in the middle of 3 and 4. I'm just watching the F2 as you guys come by, and you're just like, what the hell? And you just like slam right into me. And Jeffrey McClintock had been like either behind you or third, and he was able to just throw it to the apron, and he like stole the win. Um, and I don't remember if they like reset the running order to be the last, like taking the white flag or what, but yeah, you were not happy with me for a
Yeah,
while.
I don't remember a lot about that at all. I do remember that Pocono race where it was only like a 4 or 5 car race anyway, and then it was just me and you for the entire race, just literally on each other's bumper the entire time.
Yeah,
Which seems to be the case for a lot of races that we do anyway. But
yeah, that was a
it,
2012 FSC track, I think, that we had that race on. I
yeah,
know,
it was a pretty good one.
I think you won that race, because I know I didn't. I couldn't remember if you just won it or if like we got together and someone else stole it. I don't remember.
I, I had the replay still, and but when I switched computers over, I lost it. I think it was like I do think I won it, but I think it was just kind of like whoever had the position was probably gonna be able to keep it because I don't know if there was much passing. It was kind of back and forth a
Yeah,
little bit, and I think it just kind of. I think you took the lead with like 2 or 3 to go, and then you hit the wall coming out of the tunnel turn,
mm,
and I got back by you in three, and then you just couldn't get back enough run to get back by me. But it was like we were within like 2 or 3 tenths, and then the rest of the field was like 20 seconds behind us.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that was like probably 2018, 2019 or so. I don't really remember.
Yeah, something like that. It was right around the time that I came back for like 6 months and then left again because I haven't consistently played this game for the whole time. I've had a bunch of breaks in between me playing it for sure.
Yeah, I've had 2 long breaks myself. At the end of to start 2020, I took like 6 months off, and then to start like the next year after that, I took like 7 months off, and those have been my 2 long breaks. Other than that, I've been consistently racing a couple times a week. Last year, I went crazy from like September through October. I was racing like I think 6, if not every night of the week, because I was like, well, I didn't think I was gonna have a chance, but I might get to win 100 races this year, so I'm just gonna grind it out and try to get this goal. Because I mean, how often can you win like a third of the year, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think I stopped playing. It was around a year or two, 2017. I think I quit playing for a while. Didn't play. Came back in 2019. Came back for like 6 months or so, and then I left again in like 2020, like early 2020, and then I didn't play again until 2023. So I took like 3 years off of the game. It was like
Yeah.
3.5 years. It was pretty long.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember you coming back for that 6 months, and then yeah, you just like dropped off the face of the earth, and then I remember I forget where it was. Like I wasn't in the race with you, but I remember you coming back, and I was like, I was in like one of the Facebook groups, and I was like, "What the hell? Jack Merkle's racing again? Damn!" I was like, "I thought bro left for some like iRacing or something."
Yeah, I wanted to race. I don't remember what it was, but I wanted to race again or something. And I think the only thing that was coming up that was close was Maverick, and they were at Bristol. And
Yeah, Maverick. Yeah,
I remember Cody had told me about it, and he was like, "It's pretty bad." And I was like, "I've dealt with some bad stuff. It can't be that bad." And I did the race. I was like, "This is terrible. This is awful." Then of course, I won the race, but didn't claim a wreck, so I got EOL. It was a whole thing. It was
yeah,
not.
that was the
It
race
was a
with
fun race to come back from my first one.
you and Trey got into it or something.
It was some guy that only showed up for that race and has not shown up since. Didn't even sign up for this season.
Oh,
I bored him in 3 and 4. Yeah,
oh, I
me and Trey didn't
remember.
get into it.
It was
It was like
some.
Andre Good or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was some like random person.
Some name I've never heard of and I haven't seen since at all. So
Kind
I
of,
don't really.
kind of almost makes you wonder if it was someone racing under an alias or something for the
I mean,
laws.
it could have been, but they have a Facebook page. That person does because I'm friends with
Hmm.
them on Facebook now because I added them. Because their cover photo was me upside down. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, or they just like randomly did one in our race and they
I
just
guess. Yeah.
haven't raced, or they race in like a very small part of the community. You know, there's all these little cliques and factions around that you just like don't even know exist until you see like a stream of it, and then you're like, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
think.
half the field.
Yeah, I think me and Trey's stuff started because he was kind of upset in his interview. I think he was like mad that he lost or something. And I'd probably make a snide comment at him, and like I'd be mad too if some guy came back after 3 years and busted my ass too or something like that. And then after that, it was just kind of like we were racing each other pretty hard on the track, and he every time he would wreck somebody, I'd make a comment about it, and then he took me out a time or two, and then Phoenix happened later that season where he on the restart he blocked me all the way to the inside wall on the dog leg, and I got like a car length off the wall and said, "Well, I'm not going left anymore." And I I didn't intent wreck him, but I definitely didn't try to not wreck him,
Mhm.
and ended up getting parked for that race. And ever since then, we've been fine. Like we haven't had any run-ins. That's also because he hasn't shown up a lot, so I don't really know. Oh, he did dump me at Richmond, but then I came back and
Ah,
won the race, so it didn't really matter.
right on. What's a race one that means a lot to you?
Oh man, probably my first one. Honestly, I don't think any of them since then really like. I mean, obviously they're all like it's pretty cool that I won the race, but I haven't had one that really meant a lot other than that first one. Considering it was just the first one.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe when I won Bristol and Maverick, coming back after all those years and still being able to just come back and just win a race like that. Probably that one, but I don't know. They all kind of. I don't want to sound like an asshole when I say it, but they all kind of just feel it's like just a win. It's not like any of them really have any more significance than
Hmm.
others, other than maybe like the two. I won two titles by winning the final race. So like the NNSUA Budweiser series that Michael Norman did. I won
Hmm.
that one. That was pretty cool. That was probably pretty high up there. And then I won a when it was still S Fox. I won an S Fox title by winning the last race. So that was pretty cool too. So probably those two, my first win, and then like that Maverick Bristol race are probably the top four of what I would say are like my important wins to me for sure.
Okay, so you said those are the only two championships, or those are like the special ones? You would say.
Those are the only two that I've won that I had to win by like winning the final race.
Okay,
I,
would
I
you
have
say there's
seven now.
a would you say there's another championship that matters more?
I really want to win Maverick. Obviously, it doesn't mean
Well, you
anything, but
haven't
it's
won
just
it
kind of
yet.
like
I mean, like what you have won, you know.
oh, oh yeah, okay. Oh, of the ones I've won, probably the probably the yeah probably that S Fox championship because that was I mean, at the time, that was the most competitive league I had been in, and we had
Mm,
consistently got like 20 car fields. And that was pretty big for back then too, for us. So, and that was, I mean, that was a Final Four of like me, DJ, Zach, and like I think Dylan Schwellenberg. So
mm-hmm.
that was pretty big to win that one. I felt pretty good after I won that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite one I've won.
I would say it's funny because I would say my favorite fixed setup championship is still my IMRC championship for season 9, and that was also like I won the race, but it was me, Joven, Poti, and Chris Wetz were the final four.
Yeah,
And
I forget he started racing those around the time I started leaving too. Was he
yeah,
started showing up in them too?
yeah, Wetz and Arnold Columbia ran like a 2 or 3 seasons over there at IMRC after like FTF like was kind of on its way out.
Yep, yep.
And then IMRC kind of just folded a little bit after that. But I remember Poteet like blew up, which honestly, like he probably would have won the title if he hadn't. And then Joven got wrecked by a warpy lap car, and it set up like a 4 to go, 3 4 lap to go shootout with me and Wets, and I almost gave it away on the last lap, clipping the apron in 1 and 2, and I just like covered the bottom, and I was able to hold on and win it. But um, Monday's the Thunder's Cup Series title late last year, season 11 Cup title. That one I would say I hold in pretty high regard too, as far as fixed setup titles go, because they run like a mix of Cup and CTS physics. And the finale was Michigan CTS physics, and holy crap. I had the slide job. We were 4 wide at the white flag, all 4 contenders. And then I like had to slide job myself clear off of turn 2, and I was like barely clear. Like good thing we were using like Malin's EXC, or I like probably would have net coded the guy and myself into the wall. But I was able to slide right up in front of him, got a bump, and then I just had to manage the draft line behind me, and I like stayed single file into 3. But like the last 10 laps of that Michigan race were crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I would say that, and honestly, the one that I wanted to win most that I didn't was recently. It was as I never won a championship in any of the NNS series stuff. And I had a chance to win the actual icebreakers that Nick was running, and obviously you saw firsthand. I had a chance. I was in the lead for points. I got game screwed for fuel strategy at Miami because it. I don't know. I don't really still don't know what happened. And then
Yeah,
like 3 races after that, I
some
got taken out in a row, and I went from leading the points to I was like 20 behind, and I was like, this sucks, dude. Like nothing in my control has made me miss this championship, and it sucks.
yeah, Icebreakers title is another one I hold in high regard. The one year we ran open setup CTS, I Julian Wilson and like Matt Stern came over, and they were like veteran open setup guys, and like I was fortunate enough to like get them on a team with me together along with Patrick Schaefer, and like Julian just had like really good CTS setups. So I think I finished second to him like 6 or 7 times that season, but like whenever he wasn't there, I was able to like get a win. Like I won at Arizona over, I think it was over like Shane and Poteet, and then I got
Yeah.
a win at Watkins Glen later over Julian. Actually, that was like the one time I did beat him was at the Glen, but I won that championship kind of due in part to the fact that Julian was getting married, so he was gone like the last 2 races of the season.
Man,
Otherwise, he
not
might have had me.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I that's a name I definitely forgot about racing was him. He was always a struggle to beat too sometimes, but I don't think I really raced with him a lot, but I do remember that name now that you say it.
Yeah, he mostly goes by his like gamer tag name Kilojoules. He races at like Hobo and Bomb Squad. He's still wicked fast. Like if you race him open setup cup, like you kind of got to hope for a short run, kind of, because
Yeah,
he is just so bad fast on the long run that he has to save at the beginning of the run by like way more than you would think you would want to. But when he does, like he is lights out the last 10 laps of a run. Like you cannot keep up. Like
Yeah, I
his
think
setups are insanely loose.
yeah the only race I remember doing with him was some NNSCRA stuff when they had their like nationwide mod going on, and that was when I came back for those 6 months or whatever. And the one race I remember with him was it was a race at Lime Rock Park, and it basically came down to between me and somebody else. I don't remember who the third one was, but I think it was DJ still, and it ended up coming down to like I got around him with like 2 or 3 to go and just was able to hold him off, and that one was pretty. That was a pretty good one because and at the time I thought it was Joven just under a different name, and so I was just like, oh whatever, and they're like, oh it's a different guy, and I was like, oh that explains a lot too.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that because I think the season before was the season I won the championship, and we had a race at Lime Rock in the regular season, and it came down to me and Julian, and I just couldn't find a way to like get enough of a run on him to get next to him. But I was like all over his bumper for probably the last like 5 or so laps, and he gave me a lot of props for like just not moving him out of the way. I was like, yeah, I just couldn't get next to you. It's a really narrow ass track, you know?
Yeah, it's that's definitely one thing I've learned too is like I feel like sometimes I race too nice, but at the same time, like I don't want to take anybody out, but and then you get to the moments where like you're like I definitely could have and probably should have moved the person I was racing with a couple times, but I don't want to take anybody out, so I just never do it.
Yeah, I'm a lot more. I don't like wrecking people anymore. I try to pride myself in being as clean as I can be. So I don't. I hold myself back unless it's like, okay, like we just had a yellow with 10 to go and we're all going to pit and like none of us are going to worry about saving tires. So I'm just going to
Yep.
do what I need to be as fast as I can, but not overheat the right front. And
Yep.
like I have made some pretty crazy moves. Like there was a MOT Kansas race a few months ago in February where it was something like that. It was like a 7 to go restart or whatever. And I was able to Keith was racing Ryzen Baker for the lead off of 4, and they like held each other up a little bit, and I got a huge run off the top. It was the same Kansas we used for Maverick last week, and they left the hole in the middle, and I split the middle, and then I like slid up in front of Ryzen off of 2, and then they just ended up racing Ryzen for second, and I just pulled away like a tenth or two a lap to the finish.
Yeah, that Kansas race, man, that one hurt because that one I definitely lost that one completely by myself. I feel like if I hadn't hit the wall coming off 4, it would have been closer. But I don't think I needed to clear you.
I think the wall hit off of 2 hurt you more because
Yeah,
I
I needed to clear you.
tried.
I definitely needed to clear you or be ahead of you coming off 2 to have any chance of it at all. And I
Yeah,
wasn't.
because the first lap, like when we restarted, I picked the top. You cleared me because you don't use automatic clutch and I do, so you got a better restart. You cleared me, but then Joven gave me enough room to make the crossover right on exit. So I got back to your inside down the back, and then I cleared. I left you the lane coming off of 4, coming to the white, and at the white, I was ahead of you by like 2/1000ths of a second or something. We were like that even, and then went through 1 and 2, and I tried to leave you the lane again, and you just, I don't know if I just didn't leave enough or if you just were trying to get all you could out of it, and
What?
you tapped the wall just enough to where it stalled you out. So then in 3 and 4, what happened was I was going to try to leave you the lane again, but your like internet did like a little wiggle like right before the exit of 4, and then I thought maybe there might have been contact, but I think it just got tight on you again, and you ended up hitting the wall there too.
Yeah, I think both times it was I drove it in too deep, trying to make sure I stayed next to you in the corner so you couldn't clear me off the corner, and I just drove it in too deep both times and just hit the wall,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, but you know.
but yeah, I mean, you had that. You were in a great spot in that race when we had that long green flag run because we had the 2 quick yellows in the first 10 laps, and like a bunch of us hadn't pit, but because you had started at the back, you were like, "Yeah, I'll pit. I'll take 4 tires." And then we had the long run, and you were in like the perfect position. Had that we didn't have that yellow at 20 to go, or I think it was 28 to go. If we hadn't had the yellow at 28 to go, um, and then of course the yellow with like 7 to go definitely shook it up too. Actually, it was
Yep.
coming to 5 to go. We had
Yeah,
that
it was like I
yellow.
think we were coming off 4 when coming to point of no return when it happened.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
which I still think we would have had a pretty good fight. Like I was trying to set myself back up to make another run at you, but it was definitely going to be difficult to get next to you and like make a pass work.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it definitely made it harder for me to have to do that last restart. But it still probably would have been closer. But I don't think. I just think it would have been a lot easier for me to be able to have those 7 laps to be able to just control the lead and make you have to
Mm-hmm.
pass me instead of it trying to be stay next to him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's another fan favorite question. Your favorite mod, favorite track, favorite league to race at, past or present, and your favorite physics type, and you can answer those in any order.
Favorite mod would probably have to be. I would say it would be the BR Gen 6 mod, but I've just used it so much. I really wish that uh, the SS.net COT mod. I wish people would use that. I really like the wing COT cars, and I feel like there's just a lot. They look really good on track. That mod looks pretty good, and I don't think the bumpers are that bad on it. But just nobody ever uses it for anything ever, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as far as track, are you talking about like just in general or like version of a track? Because I don't know versions of tracks at all.
You can just do in general.
I think it's, I think to this day still it's gonna be CTMP. I
Okay.
have always loved CTMP, and it's still a favorite track of mine to drive. It's just something about it that like it feels so satisfying to get it right that I love driving on that track so much, especially coming up through the straightaway and then having to get it slowed down for the quick right and left hander coming to the finish. That's so fun every time you do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a fun track. We just ran there at Fast a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I was gonna make the first time we did the race, and then it came around this. We had to repostpone it, and I wasn't able to make the second time.
Yeah.
What were the other two?
Favorite league, past or present, and physics.
Favorite league probably gonna be. I mean, probably any of the NNS CRA stuff. Either that or when it was still S Fox. Always had fun there. Always seemed like it was clean race. There were some times where it wasn't, but I mean, even then, it was literally just me and my big group of buddies that always just raced together, and it always, I always seemed to have fun. There was never really any problems out of it. And the NNSURA stuff is always, I mean, that's a classic. It's been around for forever, and there's been a bunch of different stuff raced there, and it's always a good time because it's always with people that I know, and I know people aren't going to have, it's not going to be people I have problems with or anything like that. It's always a fun time.
Mm.
And I mean, cup physics. The CTS stuff is good for what it is, but I I'm so much better and so much more comfortable racing cup physics and anything that I just I don't really use the GNS physics for a lot of stuff, and I think that's probably my least favorite.
Hmm.
CTS I can be good at CTS when it's in the truck stuff, but I hate CTS racing on super speedways. I hate super speedway racing in general, but I hate when it's CTS physics too. And it's just it feels like the car's going so slow the whole time, and it's so boring to me, and I can't ever make a move, and so anything that has cup physics is what I like to do.
Okay, yeah, right on. I one an idea I have recently is for cup physics, right? At super speedways, chassis 1 just doesn't really work, right? Chassis 2 is kind of too fast and too much downforce. Chassis 2. I want to see if there's a way we can make chassis 5 work so then we'd be driving Daytona Talladega like it's like the mid 80s again. Like you're going to be chugging like 220 or so into the corner, but like you have to lift. Like I want to see if we can like find a package that works cuz I think that would be fun.
There was I don't remember if it was an FTF, a Solstice, or VSR, what race it was. But where was that race that it was like that? It was at, I think it was Daytona, where we were doing like 220, 225 down the straights, and you have to slow it down to like 170, 175 to get it through the corners. And it was
Oh,
really, really fun. It was so fun. It
y-
was, I mean, I didn't do good. It was hard to drive, but it was very fun to race in.
yeah.
But it was years ago.
The last time I did a Chassis 5 race was when Panko released his Denver track, because that track comes Chassis 5 default, because it's like a Auto Club Michigan type hybrid. Like it's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2.25 mile oval with like California style banking. And I figured something out with it where like I was pushing the right front, which you generally do with that chassis anyway, but like I was faster than Cosman on the long run. And that was like a long race. I think it was like a 100 lap race or something at that track.
Ooh.
But like you would go into the corner at like 210 and you would have to get it down to like 165, 160. Like there was
Yeah,
a ton
that
of
sounds
braking
fun.
going on. And then I was like fiddling with a track. I was fiddling with Homestead, and I was like, what if I tried this with Chassis 5? And I was like trying it like open setup style, and I was like, man, it just feels way too loose. Like the whole time I'm going into the corner, it's just way too loose. I was like, yeah, this would be probably better for fixed setup, but like open setup, no shot. But one thing you have to remember when you do Chassis 5 is you have to turn the tire wear loss down, because chassis 5 has so little downforce that like even having the wear loss at 0.20 is like 3 or 4 seconds of fall off, like easily.
Yeah, oh yeah. And going back to something you just said too, that's another driver I'm going to add to my rivalry list is Cosman. That's a motherfucker I could never get around,
Yeah.
ever, ever. And like it sucked too because he showed up to S Fox in like the middle of one of the seasons and just started winning. I was like, dude, go away.
Yeah, I remember that. He showed up, he was running lights, and he was winning lights every damn weekend.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are we doing here? Like you're so much better than the other leagues. Just go back to those. Leave us alone.
I remember me and
And
Cosman always got into it.
I think there was one race where he won a New Hampshire race by like
Yes.
it was
Brandon
by like
Schmidt got
30 seconds,
pissed.
and people were. I think that half the field was like, "Yeah, he's definitely cheating in some way," because he was like, I think he won the. He was like 2 seconds faster than everybody every lap, and he won the race by like a minute or something like that. It was something stupid, and it was he had to like upload his replays and da 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 da, and they were like everybody was calling him out for cheating and everything, and it was not a good time.
Yeah, I remember Brandon Schmidt was really pissed off about that one.
Yeah, that's certainly a person.
But yeah, Cosman and I think I think he's the only guy I've intentionally wrecked 3 times or more. Like him and I had beef in APRS. There was like something at Martinsville, and then like he like moved me or something, and then we went to Texas, and I accidentally put him in the wall. So he was pissed off, and I was like, "Oh, well, why don't you do something about it?" And then he dumped me. So I was like, "Oh, that's how you want to play?" And then I dumped it back, and Pinko was like, "That's it, you're both gone. Get off the track." And Cosman like lost his admin privileges and got suspended for like a couple of races, and I got suspended for like one race. And then I ended up intent wrecking him at FTF in like the last FTF race on an R. I intent wrecked him. I forget why. Oh, I know why. I kept getting in wrecks, but they like weren't really my fault. Like it was just really tight racing with a bunch of guys, but I kept like either there was like one wreck I think I flat out caused, one wreck that like was maybe 50-50, and then there were two others where I just like got involved. And Kevin never liked me. And Kevin was giving me shit for it. And I was like, I'm literally just driving my car, man. And it like turned into a fight. And then like, I was just like, I don't remember if Cosman said anything or if I was just like, well, I'm just going to wreck Cosman since Kevin won't shut up. So I wrecked Cosman. And then Kevin wrecked David Day because he thought I was trying to help out David Day. and then David Day still won the championship. So yeah, that was a whole fiasco. That was 5 years ago now. That's crazy.
Man,
Um,
that's crazy.
but yeah, Cosman and I always had the weirdest like love hate relationship. Like we would get along, and then we would be wrecking each other on the track, and I would like pay him to do my paint schemes and stuff, and like he painted me a lot of banger paint schemes, but like we always had this weird off and on thing going on. It was crazy.
Yeah, I only did ever a couple FTF races, and it was mainly just the road courses. And I tried to like kind of tried to stay away from that group because that group didn't really like me, and I didn't really like them. And I was like, it's just best if I stay away and just don't even try to talk to them at all, and just keep away from all of that.
Yeah, Justin Malillo and I would always. Well, he wouldn't really get into me. I was always getting into him. There was one year where I think I wrecked him like 3 or 4 times, and it literally just got to the point where it was just like, if I even so much as grazed his car, he would be yelling at me over whisper because he was just so
Yep.
mad at me.
Yeah, I've had a few run-ins like that with some people.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny looking back at it because it's just like, man, like it was always some dumb little thing that like you would just get into someone, and then it always turned into like a full blown argument.
Yep, yep. But I mean, that's how. And I mean, back, especially back when we were a little bit younger too. That's just how competitive the game was, and how much like we thought we were the best of all time. And if anybody messed with us, it was like you're in my way. Like get away from me.
Yeah, that I was definitely that way on road courses. Like when I figured out road courses in like summer 2018 going into 2019, whenever I would race another league where there was someone like 5 seconds off, I would be like calling up ahead like, "Please get out of the way," or not even, like I would just be like, "I'm coming up on you. You better move." And they'd be like,
Yeah,
"Fuck you, dude. Like I'm not moving now." And
yeah,
I'd get all mad.
yeah,
Now I just tell people like, "Hey, I'm coming up on you. Feel free to just like do what you're comfortable doing. Like I'll find the way around you. Like
yeah.
it's not a big
I've gotten to
deal."
the point where I just won't tell anybody anything because I feel like, especially some of the like people who are maybe newer to the game or something, when you tell them that you're about to catch them and just like tell them to do something, they just kind of freak out.
Panic. Yeah, they
And just
panic.
mess it up. So I just don't say anything, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll figure it out. You just do what you're doing. Just don't. I'm not even gonna say anything to you.
That was one thing I was really impressed by for Maverick Sonoma. Like I like everyone just like saw me coming and they just moved over at like the right spots. Well, except
Yeah,
there was one time I caught Ben, and Ben was like right in the racing line, and he was like slowing to let me go, but it was like right at the apex of a corner, and I was like, oh, this was a terrible spot to catch him. I just like
yeah,
had to slow down and be careful. I was like, I'm not trying to die.
yeah. It's usually pretty good over there, like in terms of trying to get around lap cars and stuff like that. Him and his dad, I know they're trying to, but they're really bad about letting people by because he
I
his
think
dad especially he'll like
Mark's gotten better at it. Mark has
Mark's
gotten
usually
better
the one
at
I
it.
have problems with. Which again, he was worse last year than he is this year, but he's still kind of like he kind of gets in your way, but it's kind of like he's trying to slow down, but he's just being slow in your way, and it's like, dude, just keep driving. I'll get around you. Don't worry about it. You're making it worse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes like trying to get out of the way, you just people sometimes try too hard to get out of the way, but they're just out there doing the best they can. I mean, they're
Yeah,
out
I've
there
seen
for the
people
fun of
spin.
it.
Yeah, I've seen people spin off the apron trying to get down and out of the way, and it's just like, dude, like now you just like now I'm having to avoid you from spinning out, and it's just like, just why would you even do any of that?
That's actually funny you mentioned that because so we're running Charlotte at Fast tomorrow, and there's something weird with the track where last year there was 20 to go. I was out of tires. There was like something weird with the strategy I had done. I was out of tires. Everyone else still had a set left. And of course, stupid caution comes out with 15 to go. I had to stay out, everyone pit. But so the caution was because I had Randall behind me. We were pretty much even, racing for the win. But we caught Tyler Stallhood going into three. And Stallhood, for some reason, decided instead of just staying on the track and holding high to let us go by, he like panicked and threw it down pit road. Well, when he threw it down pit road, he spun. And for some reason, that Charlotte track, decided, oh, he's on the racing surface. That's a caution. And threw the damn yellow for him spinning down pit road.
Of
And
course.
I got so screwed. Like, I think I still got a top 5, but, like, I literally had no chance at winning the race because everyone, like Randall and everyone behind me, pit for 4 tires. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Hmm.
So that sucked. But yeah, like just hold your line on the track, brother. Like, you're fine.
Yeah, it's sometimes some stuff happens and you're just kind of like, man, why? The game really shows its age sometimes on some things that happen, and it's like, man, it's a struggle sometimes.
Right on. Um, so getting more into like some real life side of NR, like how many people have you met in real life that you've met from NR? I know you like ran into Theo Stegall one time.
That is still the only person I've ever met
That's funny.
that
He's
I,
just a
that I that I
random
that I, that I
encounter.
raced with. That I forgot he even lived in the same city as me, and saw him at his job at the mall one time. Funny enough, the only person I've ever met from here or from this game lives in the same town I do. We have the same birthday. It's all the same.
That's same birthday, really?
Yeah, we have. I don't think it's the same year, but it's the same day.
That's crazy. Like that's literally insane. You know the funny thing is I don't know if he still works there or not, but Stephen Paul III is like 20 minutes from me. And I remember like seeing that he worked at Dollar Tree, and I was like, oh, I should go bother him on a shift. And then I was like, well, I'm not really close with him, so I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So I never bothered. I never bothered doing that. Um, Corey Rexford's from Mass too. He was
Yeah.
another one. Cole Baker used to live in New Hampshire. There's somebody in MOT who actually lives in Rhode Island. Irvin Vargas is his name, I think.
His
So
name sounds kind of familiar.
that's another one who's like kind of close to me, but like I'm like, of course, all the people close to me are like people I don't really consider like close enough of a friend that I'll like go do something with them.
Yeah.
Like, but it's funny. There are like quite a few older guys at like there's one guy in Bomb Squad who lives in Mass. Rod Weston's in Vermont, I think. Um,
Okay.
and then obviously LaPlante's in New Hampshire, and there's like
Yep.
a few, but there's like a couple of older guys. There's a couple guys at RTG that I believe are in the New England area. So it's funny. Like you just kind of learn. Like if you talk to people, you learn like, oh yeah, this guy's near me. Damn, that's crazy. Like you
Yeah.
never would have known.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to really go to races to try and meet people, but I haven't been to a race since 2015, so
Hmm
I just it's whatever.
I went to Richmond in fall of 2018, and James Shelley had told me he was going to be at the track. And I remember like I was like, "Oh, maybe we can meet up during the race before the race at some point." And then like I like messaged him like day of the race like where he was, and he like just never looked at his phone or didn't answer. And I was like, "Well, so much for that.
Nice.
So much for
Nice.
that."
Yeah, I guess I haven't really ever tried either, but it's just kind of like I don't know. It's not really I'm not super eager to meet anybody or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, so I met Cole first, and this was like forever ago. Like I was like he was still in high school when I met him. Then I met Brian Voiles. He drives a truck for a living, and he used to do like a lot of cross country deliveries and stuff for freight.
Yeah.
He actually had a setup built into the cab of his truck, which was pretty cool. So he was in my area, so I actually drove like 45 minutes north to like where he was, and I got to like meet him and see the inside of his truck, his setup. It was pretty cool. And then the only other person I've met is someone from the offline side of NR.
Yeah.
And I met him like 2 years ago in New Jersey. So those are all the people I've met. I was trying to there were a couple people when I took my trip down to Tennessee 2 years ago. There were a couple people where I was like on the way. I was like, hey, if it's like close enough, I might try to meet up with you, whatever. And then like they were either busy or we just never really like found the way to like set something up. So I was just like, well,
Yeah.
like I'm just gonna be on my way then. Like there was one guy, an older guy, I was gonna try to go out and meet. But it was gonna be like 2 hours out of my way, and I was just like, I just want to drive to Knoxville. Like,
Yeah.
just get me over
Yeah.
there. So you start driving, and you're like, before you start driving, you're like, oh yeah, like I'll stop here, stop there, and then it's like you make one stop out of the way. Like when I met the guy in Jersey, it was like I think an hour, 45 minutes out of the way, and after
Yeah.
that, I was like, yeah, I'm not stopping for anyone else. I got to get to Richmond.
Yeah.
Any other funny stories in your times on an R that you would be willing
Honest-
to share?
Honestly, I just can't. I don't remember a lot that happened anymore. Like, I've been doing it for so long that it's all just kind of like blended together into one. I mean, there's been
It's
like,
tough.
yeah, and you do so many races that it's hard to remember everything from. I mean, I know for a fact, me and you together, we've probably started over 10,000 races probably at this point. It's
Combined,
a lot.
combined probably, yeah. So
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
so I'm at 258. Do you know your number by chance?
For wins,
Yeah, for wins.
yeah, I got one. I got 138 last night.
Okay. So that's 396 wins combined between
Yeah.
us, and then 23 championships because you said you had 7. I have
Yep.
16 right now.
Of course.
I won a bunch of open setup titles over the last few
Yeah.
years where there wasn't a lot of competition. I've also won a couple of my own championships, so
I have a
I
couple of
have a
your
lot
championships as
of
well.
like championships that I hold in very low regard, but then I've got like the few that I'm like the IMRC, the NNSCRA, the
Yep.
MOT, like those are my like 3 big ones at the top. I really want to win the fast title this year because it's such a commitment. Like it's
Yeah.
literally every week of the year for like
Yeah.
36 weeks, and it's like
Yeah. That's kind of the
it's
thing
a
with
Final
Mavericks. Is
Four
like,
format too, so it's like God, like I
yeah.
wish NASCAR had changed the format a year earlier because they're talking about maybe doing like a 2 or 3 race playoff. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, if we were doing that this year, I wouldn't be worried at all. Like, because I
Yeah.
would just points my way the 3 races, but like it's gonna come down to Phoenix. And the funny thing is I have this gut feeling that this is gonna be the year where I don't win the finale because last year I wasn't in it because I didn't make it the start count because I started too late. And the year before that, same thing. And I won both of the season finales for those 2 years. And I'm like, watch this be the year where like I'm not gonna win the race and it's gonna be costing me the
Yep.
championship.
Yep.
But you were gonna say something about your titles.
Yeah. I was gonna say I have. I also have two of your titles too. I have
Yes.
one of the road course ones you did, and then I have one of the truck ones you did.
Yeah.
I
Okay. Yeah. So
think.
you won, or did you win the? I wonder if you won the truck series short track thing we did, the mini series.
Yes, it was. It was the short track truck series.
Okay, so they had the short track truck series and then the Xfinity road course series, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Oh man, those were so long
The only
ago.
thing,
I
I
remember
remember from
remember the
the road
Monaco
course one.
race.
Yep, that's what I was gonna bring up was the
Monaco.
Monaco race.
I couldn't go freaking
Monaco,
couldn't pass.
Monaco, and then the other one I remember is the Montreal. I think it was where it was like no grip because you wanted it to be like it was raining.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember we started the race, and I was like, "Well, I need to get my tires warmed up so I can like make a couple corners." And I think too, you weren't. I don't think you were racing. I think you were just hosting them. And so I was like a second faster than everybody. And they're like, "Well, why don't you just start from the back?" And I was like, well, "Whatever." There's like 9 cars. Okay. So I did, and the race started, and I just matted it and did like I did a John Force burnout across the whole front stretch. I was like, "Well, my tires are warm now," because there was no wear.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know anything about iron ice back then that I know now.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was fun. It was no grip, but it was like there's no tire wear, and I need the tires to get warm, so I'm just gonna do a burnout across the front stretch on the start line on the start, and I'll just have warm tires, whatever.
I should propose an idea to like MOT or something because they like MOT likes doing fun little mini series. I should maybe talk to Matt Moss and be like, hey, what if you guys did like a low grip road course series to like simulate like rain grip? Like just
That would be fun,
set it to .85, like 0.85 grip with like no tire wear.
Yeah,
and
I mean, that
like
was it
just
up there apparently.
make me start last in all of them. Like I can't start up front. Like me, Keith, or in any other road course ace has to start at the rear. It'd be a blast because we did.
Yeah.
I don't think you were there for it, but before or after the Montreal race, I did like a low grip one on Lime Rock, and that one had even less grip. I think it was before because I think I had learned from Lime Rock that Lime Rock had too little grip. Like Lime Rock, I think I set the grip to 0.75, and you might
Jesus.
as well have been driving in the snow because like we had the three main people that showed up and did good in that race was Brandon Lawson, John Poole the third, and Colin Keister. Like I got those three to show up for this one-off race. I got a stream of it on my YouTube still, I
Oh
think.
man, John pulled a third. Jesus.
But like Brandon struggled. John Poole even self-spun once. Colin won the race by like almost a lap, and I remember Colin said, I just he's like I just put it in third gear and you just like half throttle it around the whole track, and I was like, huh, interesting. Like that's like looking back, like yeah, that sounds like that would work. Like just put it
Yeah.
in third gear, or put it in the highest gear, and then just like keep your revs low, and you can use as much throttle as you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a blast if we did like even if we did that for like a short track series, like if we went to like all like the small tracks like Langley. Like remember there was a little controversy in the Langley truck race in that series? I think
Yeah, I
between
do remember that.
you and
Yes.
myself
Yep.
or something.
That's something like that.
There was some contact off of turn
I do remember
4.
that.
Yeah. Langley would be fun. Monadnock's really small. Oh, there's another track I can't think of the name of, but I can like visualize it. There's a lot of like small little like quarter mile, third of a mile tracks that would be like a fun thing to maybe do. Like just pretend there's rain on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
No.
MOT actually is doing like a SummerSlam thing, and they have like a edited EXE where you can like do a little bit of like bump and running. So I'm
Oh yeah.
looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
That, that would be fun, but apparently they don't want me over there.
Really?
Somebody said that because I asked about if anything was running on Monday night, and somebody said MOT was, and I was like, well, do you have a is it invite or
Oh, that
whatever?
might have been during the season. So the season was still running, and Matt doesn't like bringing in new people during the playoffs. So
Okay.
if you ask, was it Miles Fox that was asking for you?
I think so.
If you ask him again, he might be able to get you the link now because SummerSlam starts in next week. Not this coming Monday,
Okay.
but the Monday after SummerSlam starts, and it's a ton of
Okay.
fun. So yeah, I would reach out again because it's a ton of fun to race there, and they're very laid back. Like there's no like serious level to it at all.
Yeah.
Like it's probably I probably have more fun racing there than I do anywhere else right now.
Yeah. I mean, from the couple of videos I watched, it seems like it's pretty good over there.
Yeah, it's a great time. Um, so side topic of music, movies, TV shows, or any other interest that's not motorsports.
Man, other than motorsports, not really a whole lot. I mean, I don't watch much TV anymore. I don't. I mean, I'll listen to music if I'm in the car. That's about it, really. And I mean, if I'm watching something, it's probably on YouTube, and it's probably something to do with anything, something NASCAR. It's probably something monster related, or it's like a gaming YouTuber. Basically, that's all I really pay attention to nowadays, anyway.
I
Um,
gotcha.
and as far as like going out and doing something, it's I mean, other than I mean, nowadays it's really just taking my kids somewhere. It's not even really like going out and doing anything really anymore.
You got two
It's just
kids?
I do. I have two boys.
They're your own boys, or
Yeah, they both
okay?
are.
What are their names, if you don't mind me asking?
The oldest is Levi, and the youngest is Jack.
Oh,
It's actually he is the fourth.
Jack. Oh,
I'm
that's
the
right.
third.
Yeah, because you're the
Yeah,
third, right?
I am the third, and he is the fourth.
Did you
We
feel pressured into continuing that, or did you just like you
it
wanted
was
to
it
do
was
it?
kind of a thing. Like we had joked about it when she got pregnant with him. We had joked about like, oh, if it's a boy, we'll just name him the fourth. And then my she got pregnant in November of 2020, and then my grandfather passed away. The one I'm named after, in February. And once he passed away, it was kind of like, okay, it's let's just do it, and so we did.
Hmm.
Because it was kind of just like a I don't if he hadn't passed away, he probably wouldn't have done it, but because he did, it was kind of like, okay, let's.
So he was the first or the second?
He was the first.
Okay, yeah, your father was the second.
I did, yeah, yeah. And then I was, we always joked about like he's gonna be the fourth, and then he passed away, and we kind of both were just like, I mean, yeah, why not? Let's just do it. Screw it.
Right on. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I always wondered if Junior had had a son, if he would have named him Ralph Dale Earnhardt the fourth or not, just to like continue that line. Like I'm curious if
Yeah,
he would do that or not. I mean, he has two
yeah,
girls. I think he's probably content with the two girls. But
yeah. I
I
think
would be curious if he would have continued the line or not, because he was technically Ralph Dale Earnhardt the third, but because his dad went by Dale, he went by Dale. So they always just
yeah,
call him Dale Jr.
yeah. I don't. That's the thing. I don't know because I don't know if he probably would have done it, but I think he would have at least. I think he would have made the his son's middle name Ralph or Dale or something. I don't know if he would have named him off of it
Hmm.
because, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know him, so who knows? Probably I don't know, and I don't know if he would ever answer that question because he probably doesn't know either. It's definitely like
In the moment kind of thing.
yeah, it's definitely a thing you think about, but you don't really do it, and then it happens, and you're just like, well, let's just do it.
He probably joked about it with his buddies, like
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
when Amy was having their first.
Yep.
If before they knew, they were probably Dale was probably drinking with the boys, like, yeah, if he's a boy, it's Ralph Dale Earnhardt the fourth, like joking around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. More than oh yeah, I could definitely see that.
But yeah, I'm sure he's just blessed to have the
I'm
two girls he has.
yeah. It's kind of crazy how much more he doesn't, how much more he looks like his grandfather than his dad. But
Yeah,
then you look at Carrie, and Carrie's a spitting image of Dale.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's funny.
crazy.
Yeah, so there's actually I forget if it's one of Kelly's kids is coming up now through late models. But so he doesn't have the Earnhardt last name, but he's like coming up. He's been doing late models and some other stuff, and he's pretty good, I guess. So we'll see how far he gets, because
Yeah.
Jeffrey did okay for his time, but
Yeah. I think his name's like Wyatt or something, isn't it?
yeah,
I
it's
think.
Wyatt.
Yeah.
I don't know the last name, but
Yeah.
it's
It's whatever her name she took on when she got married. I don't remember the last name. I think his name's Wyatt though.
yeah, his first name's Wyatt. Yeah, he's like only like 15 or so or something, 15, 16, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, there's a lot of young guys. Like it seems like there's a new young guy like that's hot on the prowl every year. Um, I know like Keelan looks like he's gonna be pretty good. Brexton, uh,
Yep.
Cash Boyer might be pretty good. I don't follow Cash a lot. I follow pretty much mostly Brexton,
Yeah.
because I'm sub to Kyle's YouTube, and they usually always post stuff. And then I guess Kyle's son Owen has started racing a little bit.
Yeah.
So those
Yep.
will
I've
be
seen about
like
that.
the four guys, the next generation guys to watch in like 10 to 20 years.
Yep.
Especially because like Kyle has said on some podcasts that like if you're gonna go racing now, you need to do everything like you can get your hands on, because it trains you to be a more adaptable driver, and
Yep.
if you can adapt to any situation, like you will be better. So like I think Brexton and Keelan both. I don't know if Keelan's doing a lot of dirt stuff, but I know Brexton does like both dirt and asphalt like a lot.
Yeah.
But like
From what I've seen, I think Keelan's just like just asphalt. Like I don't know if he's in late models yet or not.
He
I haven't
ran
really
at
paid
North
attention on the late.
Wilkesboro. He ran one of the cars races at North Wilkesboro. He got
Mm,
third, I think.
damn.
But but yeah, like I think too. Kyle said like once you start winning in something, like stop, like move to the next thing. Like Kyle doesn't want him
Yep.
to just win a lot in one thing. Like just okay, like you've won 2 or 3 races in this, to the next division you go. Like you're done with that.
Yeah.
So I think Brexton, like I feel pretty good about Brexton and Keelan, and I just don't know enough about Cash or Owen right now. And I think Cash and Owen are still pretty young. So they've still
Yeah.
got
I
like
haven't.
another 5 to 10 years before you really know.
Yeah, I haven't really paid attention all too much from and all that stuff, but I mean, it's pretty crazy how just. I mean, obviously, it's like they have pretty good teachers, but it's still just how crazy how much natural talent it is comes from them for anybody that has like their father was in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, unless you've got anything else to talk about, I'm pretty good.
No, I did see that a couple of these went for like 3 hours, and I was like, man, I don't understand how you can have that much stuff to talk about for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean
I mean, I
that
guess
was only
if it,
Blake. Blake's went for 3, but
yeah,
most of the rest of them have hovered around an hour and a half to 2 hours.
yeah. Which I mean, I love Blake, but that's a man who can talk.
Yeah, I didn't think we would have that much to talk about, but we actually did. So I was
Yeah,
pretty happy with the way that one came out.
yeah. I'll have to catch up on them and watch all of them. Like I said, I watched the one with Andrew, I watched the one with Cody, and then I've started on the Dunn and DJ one.
Yeah, I mean they're all pretty good. The one I had to edit the most was the one with Randall, because Randall takes. What's funny is like talking to Randall during a race, he's like boom, like instant response, and then I don't know if he was nervous or if he was just like wanted to be very thoughtful about his answer, because he would pause a lot and take a lot of time, and that one
Yeah,
went that one went over 2 hours and 20 minutes on raw video file, and then I edited out like 5 minutes of like just like silences or stutters. I was like, I don't want to edit it. I don't want to edit another one like this for a while. Like there
yeah,
might be a few pauses in this one that we just finished that I might need to mess with, but like I don't want to go like too deep on the editing unless there's like an obvious like 5 second gap like that I need to
yeah,
close up a little bit. Like other than that, like 2 seconds of silence is not a big deal.
yeah. You're not showing up Tuesday, are you?
No. I'm
Okay,
broadcasting Hobo with Andrew. They're running Lowe's. I think they're running Game Track.
maybe
Um,
I'll have a chance then.
my next race will be Pocono in
Great,
June.
that's
Yeah,
fun.
Pocono, and then we have Road America the week after that, and
Are you showing up
then
to Road America?
Watkins Glen is in August, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Man,
run. I'll
show up
run
for
Road
all the
America.
road courses. Oh my
I'll,
god.
I'll run Road America because I have not run it in 2 years. I think ISRL ran it early 2023, and that was the last time
Yeah,
I've run it.
yeah. I think
Um,
we ran it last season. I think before that it was been a, a couple years before I'd run it before that too.
but so the last time I ran it at ISRL, it was me versus Jerry Cook, and Jerry had me beat, and I did spin at one point. Um, through like Canada corner, the grass bit me because I was trying to get all I could out of it, and I just like barely dipped the left sides into the grass on exit and looped it.
Yeah,
Didn't hit anything thankfully, but just like looped it and lost like 5 seconds. But then I was able to save enough gas to cut off a pit stop, and Jerry had pit, and then he like broke a gear, so like I won by like 8 seconds or so.
yeah,
But so that was my last experience on Road America.
yeah. The last time I raced that, I broke a gear too, and it was not very fun.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Pocono and Watkins Glen mostly, but Road America, We'll just see how it goes. Depending on how fast I am, I might start at the back with you because I looked at Sonoma and I was like, like I probably still could have caught Josh and beat him from the back because like when you had stabilized, you were 25 seconds behind me and I won the race over Mercurio by like 59 seconds. So I was like, like if I was 25 seconds behind Mercurio, like I definitely would have caught him.
Yeah,
So
I would have had second if I hadn't have sped on pit road, because even then I the last run I chased him down like, I don't think the last run was like what, like 10, 11 laps or something like that, but I ran him down like 12 seconds and I finished behind him by only like 9, but I still ran him down. I was like a second faster than him every lap, so I could have had second if I didn't speed and would have been probably a little bit closer to you, but I just still don't think it would have mattered.
yeah, and Road America I think it's only a 25 lap race. I think I saw it's
I
25 or 26 or something like that. I think it's definitely only a one stop. I want
Yeah,
to
it's
say.
25.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's only a one stop race.
I think it was a. I think it was a 2.
It might be a two. I don't know if
I
the
think
fuel
because I
can
think
last
it was. Well,
13
I think it
laps.
was only because it was I had a caution too, but I'm pretty sure we had to pit a second time with like 5 or 6 to go to make sure we had enough to make it to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so depending on the time gaps, I might give myself a little challenged. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'll just qualify, and as long as I qualify top five, I'm not worried.
yeah.
But yeah, so that'll do it for today's episode of Who's That Driver. This was episode 10. We have hit double digits. Thank you, Jack, for joining me. If you got anyone you'd like to shout out, feel free to do so.
Yeah. Just shout out to you for always beating me, basically. You know.
Not always. You got me at
Yeah,
Martinsville.
I did. That one felt pretty good. That was pretty nice. And then I didn't show up for the rest of the races after that, but whatever.
It's still a long season to go. You can show up again.
I just looked. Martinsville is 200 laps for Maverick this season.
Oof.
That's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, that'll probably be a bit of a pace fest.
Bristol and Martinsville are both 200 laps.
Bristol probably won't be maybe too bad, but Martinsville, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
But yeah. Thanks for joining me. I was glad to get you on, and yeah, here's to the next 10 episodes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.